What is going on, guys? Welcome to my first review for NXT in 2017. We're going to take a look and break down the January 11th, 2017 edition of NXT. And we had a lot to talk about coming out of this episode. As you all know, we're only 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away from the NXT TakeOver San Antonio event, which is going to be airing live on the WWE Network on January the 28th. So I felt like this edition was solid in its own right. We had a really good main event and a number of different storyline developments that, built to take over San Antonio. So it's been a while since I've done an NXT review. The last 2 weeks, NXT's been off. They've been showing specials from Australia and Japan. Didn't really have a chance to view that, so glad that NXT is back, like I said, building towards their upcoming TakeOver event, which I am, of course, looking forward to reviewing for you guys. So with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's edition of NXT. And we kicked off this week's edition with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They actually pulled a sneak attack on Asuka in the back parking lot right up against the production truck before this match began. So that would play on later on into the events after post-match. But the match between Billie Kay and Peyton Royce teaming up to take on Maisie Evans and Sarah Bridges, really the whole point of this match was to show the dominance and, just how Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are able to work together in tandem with one another. And they're trying to really build them up as, the new duo in NXT. They kind of remind me of Emma and Dana Brooke. Before that, we had Charlotte and Sasha Banks. This just power couple duo that they'll do anything that they can to take the NXT Women's Championship from Asuka. They were able to make quick work of Maisie Evans and Sarah Bridges. They were able to go for the the Bulldog facebuster into the knee of Billie Kay. Peyton Royce was able to pick up the pinfall there thanks to help from Billie Kay. Afterwards, they got on the mic, and they pretty much talked down to Asuka, saying, we're the unstoppable duo here in NXT, and that title will belong to either one of them. But Asuka, despite being beaten down in the back parking lot, she would make her way to the ring. I really liked, the crowd was chanting, "Get behind Asuka." She's one of the toughest women's competitors in, not all of just NXT, but WWE as a whole. And I like the fact that she, despite being beaten down, she would go right back in that ring, confront Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, and they would begin to beat down 2-on-1 assault on Asuka. Nikki Cross would surprisingly come down to make the save, chase both Royce and Kay away, and then as Asuka was going into the to the turnbuckle, there was a really nice top rope drop kick delivered by Nikki Cross to Asuka. So, I like the way that this match was, set up. And I think this will be a good spotlight opportunity for all three women to go in there against somebody like Asuka, a proven competitor, one of the most dominant female competitors in the entire company. Like I said, NXT is still in the process of rebuilding their women's division. And I think this will definitely be, I think Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross will have a good showing in this Fatal 4-Way match. Billie Kay really hasn't impressed me too much until this point. I'm more, so interested in Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross. I definitely see big potential in them down the line. And like I said, in this Fatal 4-Way match, I think this could be a good opportunity for them to prove themselves. After this, we had a backstage segment with Cross and Sanity. And, they pretty much say that she's going to take the NXT Women's Championship from Asuka. Really like Sanity. They also showed Damo. He's kind of just lurking in the background. We don't know if he's a part of Sanity or if he isn't, but digging Sanity, like I said, wouldn't surprise me if they hold the Tag Team Championships and the Women's Championship, and who knows, maybe even down the line, the NXT Championship. What would you think, down the line, Sanity, ruling completely over NXT? It'd be something interesting to see. I could definitely see them being built up as a dominant faction. But there's a lot of intrigue with them going forward, like I said, with Nikki Cross, and Damo, and just, it's something, different, their gimmick. So I like it, and we'll see where they go with that moving forward. We had this match between Elias Sampson and Jonathan Cruz. Not really much to say here, like I said. I do see potential in Sampson, but he just doesn't really impress me to this point. He really hasn't really done too much in NXT. I mean, he was recently injured, and we'll have to see how he does, since he's made his return. But, it's really just been lackluster with him so far. Like I said, I don't really have too much to say about him or this match. He was able to pick up the win with the Crossroads neckbreaker for the win, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And I like how throughout the night, as we had the upcoming rematch between Gargano and Champa versus the Revival, they took a special look back at their classic series of matches at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2 and NXT TakeOver Toronto. So that was nice to see as well. We had what I thought was a pretty good, solid match between Andrade Cien Almas versus Oni Lorcan. I thought Oni really held his own in this match against Cien. There were a number of opportunities where it looked like he might get the pinfall on Cien Almas. And yeah, it was a good showing for Lorcan, but his hard-hitting physical style, I mean, he was just flying around that ring, just taking it to Almas. But towards the end of the match, Almas was able to reverse and Lorcan into the Alabama Slam attempt onto the ropes, and both men went down. Almas eventually hooked Lorcan's legs out from under him and put him into the Hammerlock DDT for the win. So this evens up the series between Lorcan. Lorcan recently pinned Almas in at that NXT TakeOver special event in Japan, and now Almas was able to get his win back. Afterwards, Almas cut a promo in Spanish, and he pretty much told the crowd to shut up, and he left from there. So we'll have to see where they go with Almas as a heel. So far, when he turned on Cedric Alexander, I like that, but nothing really, too much in the way of feuds moving forward. We'll have to see who he will feud with next, but we'll just have to wait and see. We then had an interesting interview was with NXT champion Shinsuke Nakamura ahead of his showdown with Bobby Roode. He pretty much said that he likes him. He thinks he's a good wrestler, and he's well-dressed, good look, what have you. But he also said Roode isn't strong, and he won't be champion coming out of NXT TakeOver San Antonio. And then this was interesting. Tom Phillips was told by Bobby Roode to give this to Shinsuke Nakamura. And it was the ticket that Roode had from when he, made his first appearance on NXT TV. He was, of course, sitting in the crowd at NXT TakeOver Dallas. And I just found it interesting that Bobby would give Shinsuke Nakamura this ticket, obviously trying to play mind games with the champion. But next week, as it was announced, we have a contract signing between Bobby Roode and Shinsuke. And, of course, there's only one word to describe how that will be. It will be glorious! So look forward to that contract signing, and it'll be a fresh matchup, Roode versus Nakamura, and I think it'll be the perfect main event match to headline NXT TakeOver San Antonio. And then we had another really good match. Like I said, probably out of all three of them, I would rank this at the bottom, but that's, it was still a really good match. The Revival versus Gorgon and Champa defending their NXT Tag Team Championships. Just great stuff. I mean, these two just have tremendous chemistry with one another. They work so well with one another. They tell a great story. I love the way that Gargano, takes a tremendous amount of punishment. Dash and Dawson, they try every tactics that they can do, from sidestepping him to raking the eyes to just, using the ropes as their leverage. But one spot that I really liked in this match, like I said, as it built and further built and kept going, there were a number of near falls where, I didn't think that Gargano and Ciampa were going to lose them, but there was that little bit of doubt in my mind. I'm like, well, maybe the Revival will win their third NXT Tag Team Championships. But towards the end of the match, as Gargano and Ciampa, Gargano knocked Ciampa down off the attempted Shatter Machine set up by the Revival. The tag was made, and the Revival were able to hit their double super kick finish on the Revival and successfully retain their NXT Tag Team Championships. So like I said, I'd probably rank their trilogy of matches. Probably go with Toronto at number 1, Brooklyn at number 2, and this match at number 3. Very good, good effort, and it was great to see Gargano and Ciampa eke out with the win. I think the Revival will eventually be making their call up to the main roster. I would prefer to see them on the SmackDown brand, go in there, tear it up with the likes of the Usos. And I feel that, American Alpha goes without saying, rekindle that feud, and the Wyatt family. SmackDown needs tag team depth, and I feel that the Revival they'd flourish well in the booking style for SmackDown Live. So let's, fingers crossed, hope that's where they end up. After the match, though, Paul Ellering would make his presence known. He would be standing on the ring apron, and the Authors of Pain would viciously beat down and attack the D.I.Y, Gargano and Champa. They would, really sick how they took both of their backs, they had them both up, and they slammed them into one another, and the show went off the air with Gargano and Champa laid out, and the Authors of Pain holding their NXT Tag Team Championships. And then William Regal made the announcement that in 2.5 weeks at NXT TakeOver San Antonio, it will be the Authors of Pain taking on Gargano and Ciampa for the NXT Tag Team Championships. So that should be a good showdown. The Authors of Pain biggest challenge to date, vying for those NXT Tag Team Championships. They've been built up very well to this point, undefeated. So it goes to show that wins and losses still do matter, despite what other people say. But overall, I thought this was a good edition of NXT. Like I said, really good Tag Team Championship match. Check that out. Also, the match between Cien Almas versus Oney Lorcan was good. I liked the build-up for the Fatal 4-Way match, the beatdown on Asuka and the Nikki Cross getting involved, and the interview with Shinsuke Nakamura. All in all, solid build, solid week for this week's edition of NXT, and if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a B. Give it a B grade. So that is it for my thoughts and opinions on this week's edition of NXT. Guys, let me know down below in the comments section what you thought of NXT this week. And be sure to click that like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. And be on the lookout for me in my next video. That should be the Guys of Wrestling Report, Episode 8, this Saturday. Still working on the time for that. Hopefully, we'll get back to you guys on that. But I will have a special guest, Deluxe Man. It will be a great honor to have him back on this channel. We'll have a really good discussion like we did last time, and just can't wait for it. So look forward to that video. We will be going live on Google. Like I said, time still to be determined, but cannot wait for that. So that is it, guys, for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys this Saturday for the Guys of Wrestling Report. Until then, guys,